Welcome to Old White Merc Guy. Today I'm just doing a fuel pump. It's a manual fuel pump on this 84 Ford. It's a Econoline club wagon. It's really like a 3/4 ton. The cool thing about this truck is it's got the 6.9 International diesel in it. The truck originally came out of California. Spent most of its life in Arizona, and I think it's been up this way in the Northeast for about 9 years now. So, it gets driven in the winter and stuff like that. So it's got a few issues, but I'll take you around the thing real quick. Let's see here. So yeah, I replaced this grill. It came off the grill and the bumper. Came off another truck I had. It was in pretty nice shape because the one that was on here was pretty beat up. But club wagon, meaning it's all glass. It's got the tinted glass and stuff. I put the wheels on it. It's got these, I forget which ones these are called, but the Outlaw 2s or something, or Outlaw 1s, I forget. It's starting to rust a little bit on the bottom in here. You can see right in here. I gotta fix this up. And this back here this summer. I think this, getting some scab rust here. That's got to be fixed. The back door starting to have some issues too. You can see right there. It's rusting through. I just found a place you can get some patch panels for these. Matter of fact, helped you get by. Okay. I just ordered this panel here. Yeah, you know what? Let me shoot. Which way do you pause at? Do you remember? So yeah, this rear quarter is the worst. You can see how badly it is. Right in here. It's getting bad up in here. It's a mess. This is gone. And this whole section, I kind of patched it once before. And you can see that's a mess. So evidently this new panel is going to go from here up to here. I think it goes in, it'll cut in here. And back here on this seam. So we'll see when it comes in. It wasn't that bad. It was 60 something bucks or something. This door, I gotta do the bottom. It's starting to rust. I had done this once before and it's rusting through again. This, I just gotta grind it up. Hit it with some stuff. I don't think it's going through yet. Nah. So anyway, and then I got a hole coming through the fender right here. So I mean, it's been a good truck. I've put about 50 or so thousand miles on it for what I paid for it. I have no idea how many miles are on this thing. It's 99,999. It flips over 12 zeros. Judging by the brake pedal, which I guess I could show you in a second here. I've run a lot of these trucks from 50,000 up over to 200,000, and I've never seen the brake pedal worn like this one is. So it did have AC, but someone took that out. You can see one of the injectors right there. And it's one of the things we're going to try to avoid when we put this fuel pump in here. Everybody tells you got to bleed it. Well, I'm hoping we don't have to, because this thing is a pain. Even when you get the doghouse off, it's a pain to get to the injectors on this side. And if I can look down in here, I already moved it. You can see it. You can see the air pump. You can see the pulley. You'll see the alternator right here. Okay. And then you'll see a pulley right about there. That's the air pump. I had already disconnected it and pulled it up out of the way. I've changed the fuel pump on this before, and it's so much easier with that air pump out of the way. So let me show you the brake pedal real quick, and then I'm gonna get to work on trying to get this pump out. But I'll show you what I mean by and these fuel pumps, they do not last. I really should look into a what do you call it, electric. But see how the pedal, this is worn here. I'm a left-footed braker, so you can, that's from back in the days of racing oval track cars. You use your left brake, but left foot. And then you can see this side is worn as well. I've never had a pedal worn that bad ever. So I got to believe there's over 300,000 on this. But it runs good. It's tired, but it runs good. It would have, if I'm right, it's got almost 350,000 on it. So let me bring you guys over here, get this set up. We'll go from there. Yeah, one of the things I'm gonna try to avoid is having to bleed these. I've done it the first 2 times, and then I saw a video with this guy that he said, you're better off to try to avoid that. And he's right, because these lines are getting old, and I mean, this truck's 40 years old. So one of the things you'll do is just crank it, and you can see it right there, the Schrader valve right there. So I'll crank this thing over for 30 seconds or so, come out, hit that. Usually the first time I don't get anything out of it, and then the second time you'll probably start getting some air, and then after that, before you know it, you're getting fluid out of there, and it fires up. And that beats having to loosen up all them lines and bleed it and stuff. So all right, let me get some of this stuff set up. I gotta put a piece of carpet down on the ground here and stuff. All right, guys, here's where we're at. I got the old one out. You can see the arm on here. Here's the fuel in, and the threaded part is the fuel up to your filter. Here's a new one. I got it all set to go. I just put a little bit of actually I'll show you what I use, because it kind of helps hold the gasket in place. This stuff right here, the old Indian head shellac compound stuff. I meant to get the paper out of here. I was gonna show you guys something here. Let's see. I wanted to point this out because, for one, I have to put a fuel pump in this thing. It seems like every year and a half, and I've actually gotten stuck with it twice. But now I'm used to the signs. You start losing power. This one here, I knew it was starting to go because I was on the highway, and it was like I kept getting hit with gusts of wind, and it was like slowing the truck down to a degree, but I wasn't sure what it was, and I thought, I'll bet you it's a fuel pump. And then gradually it just kept getting harder to start. But I wanted to point this out. Here's you'll see original pump here. Now, I don't know when they switched these. You probably hardly run into this, but when I first got this truck, it had this style pump on there in it. So when I went to the parts store, they brought out this pump with this arm. I was like, no, that's not it. Then I went to the other parts store, which happened to have one in stock. Same thing, except for when he pulled the pump out, this paper came out with it, and it showed, it was actually a better one than this one, but it showed that they redesigned this arm, went to this style, Whereas this one's really got a bend to it. Even this is probably a little exaggerated if I show you the new pump again. So if for some reason you got one of these and you pull the pump out and it looks like this, and you get the new one and they tell you this is the one, as long as they looked it up correctly, it is different. The arm is different. So let me point that out again. You can see how different the arm is there. So I'm going to try to crawl under here and at least show you what I'm up against. But yeah, it doesn't seem to matter how many miles. I got this thing plugged in for the block heater. It's supposed to get up to 50 today, but of course I'm getting soaked in here. But you're probably not going to be able to see too much. Let me see if I can come in from this side. Okay, so there's the fuel line. That's the one that goes up to the motor. Here's the rubber line. I got it tucked up in there. And then, can you see the block? Not really. I cleaned it off up in there. It's probably right about in there. But I cleaned it all off. The fuel pump's ready to go back in. So I think I'll get that in there. And the reason I take this air pump off, normally be sitting like right here. So when I'm ready, when I go to put this pump in, I can reach in from the top and get the back bolt started. Because if you don't take that air pump off, that back bolt is a real pain to do. And I'm going to need 2 hands to do this. So I'm not really going to be able to show you what I'm doing, but I'm sure you guys change a couple fuel pumps in your life. But yeah, for some reason, and I know a lot of other guys are having issues with these things, they just don't last. You get a year and a half. There's a guy in town, he's got the pickup truck with the 6.9 in it, and I see him often. He's a landscaper, and he loves the thing. But I ran into him. I said, hey, have you ever had problems with your fuel pump? He goes, yeah, I change it every year regardless. Once it's about a year old, he said he puts a new one in it. So anyway, I'm down to probably doing the same thing basically. But let me get this thing in here. We'll go from there. All right, guys. This is where we're at. I would have crawled under there and showed you that fuel pump. But I mean, this is what I've been laying on with this piece of carpet that is totally soaked. Now I'm soaked. But there's our air pump. If you follow the belt down, follow this belt right here down, you'll see it down there. There's 2 bolts that hold that on, so that's not bad to get off. Putting it back on, I would seriously suggest, it was a pain. Everything on these trucks is a pain, but I put the belt on and then hooked it onto the air pump, so it was kind of hanging in place that way. And then I was able to get the bolts in. The fuel pump was a bugger. I bet you I fooled with that for an hour. Of course, laying in this sloppy mess doesn't help, but yeah, it is just a nightmare getting them bolts lined up. Of course, I did have to spin the motor over a little bit to get the cam, so that when I was putting the fuel pump in there wasn't any pressure on it. There was a little pressure on it when I took the old one out. So all right, let me see if I can get this thing set up here. So next thing I'm gonna do is I charged these batteries over the last couple of days, so they're about 4 years old. I'm hoping they're gonna hold up. And then, so the next thing to do is crank this thing over, and then I'll hit that Schrader valve, and hopefully everything holds up, and we'll get the thing fired up here. Let's see if I can get this on here. All right, guys, I just checked the camera and evidently it shut off, so I don't know what you might have missed. But I did crank it over. I got a little air. I just cranked it over again. I got some fuel out of it. I got one injector that's spitting a little fuel too. Let's see if we get any kind of a smoke or something. Hopefully a little bark out of this thing. I've only done it this way one other time before, and it did work. I think it took about 4 or 5 tries, but well, let's see. I did get some air out of it on that last one, so let's see. Get a little more. Yep, got some more air. Yep, okay. Just for the heck of it, check this camera again. Yeah, all right, yep, we're recording. Okay. Yeah. Come on. Hopefully I get a bark out of it this time. No, nothing. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, still getting there. Yeah, try it again. I'll wait for the glow plug light. There we go. Come on, baby. All right, spitting some smoke. Well, yeah, more air. Okay. More air. There we go. We're getting some smoke, guys. Let's try, let's see if we get starting to get some smoke now. You guys probably can see that from over there. That's a good sign. Yeah, got some air and some fuel that time. Okay. Hopefully this camera is good. I'm still holding up. All right. Yeah, maybe we'll get something out of it this time. Yeah, she out a little bit that time. I've had it plugged in for, I don't even know how long it's been plugged in. Good 3 hours. Let's see here. Yeah, wow, got a good shot of air that time. Come on, baby. Work out of it. I know it's been 6 months. Oh, yeah, I miss that sound. I love this thing. This thing's like me, loud and obnoxious. Yeah, beautiful. She's running. Well, there you go, guys. Hopefully the video got all that. You don't get these old trucks in these Northeast, in the Northeast, and if you can help it, boy, you don't really want to be messing around with them lines unless you have to. I mean, you're just looking for trouble. Yeah, let her run a little bit. Yep. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I got one injector up there. That very front one is leaking. I'm probably going to end up having to play around with that. You'll see if you look close enough. You can see there's a drain plug gasket on there. There's an old timer that, I don't know much about these diesels, but so I was watching some videos and there was an old timer that, I shouldn't say old timer, he was probably around 50. And when he went to school for these back in the 80s to work on these particular ones, one of the guys that was there told him to, when you replace those lines and those caps and stuff, which I did, if you have one that leaks, try putting like a drain plug gasket on there. So I've done that to probably 4 of them so far. Yeah, I think you could probably see it. It's smoking a little bit, but damn, yeah, that's nice. It's running. Now I should see if I can get it out of here. I'm going to set this back on here for a minute. See if I can't back it up. I should crawl under there and see if it's leaking, but I'll be honest with you, it's so stinking wet. I'll wait till I get to if I take it for a ride, I'll wait till I get to a parking lot that's dry. Yeah, let's see. This one tire is kind of stuck in here. Let's see if we can back it up some. see here. All right. Yeah, it was kind of stuck down in there, but let's see here. All right, guys. There's part of the lake. There's some people out on the lake over there. There's a couple of kids trying to drive here and pay attention, but there's a lake on this side too. Some people out there too. Yeah. So yeah, so far so good. Running around a little bit. I gotta get used to drive. This one drives so much different than my half ton. That white one, you might have seen that in some videos. That one's an 89, and that's got the 4.9 in it, the 306. Awesome motor. That thing's got 220 something, almost 230,000 on it, I believe. This one here, you can see the gauge right there. It's the oil pressure is, well, I gotta turn. But the oil pressure is good. I think this thing could use a thermostat. You can see it's reading kind of low there. Fuel gauge works. The only thing that quit working on me is the switch for the dual tanks. The wires got kind of corroded and they had broke, and then I played around trying to get them to work again, and I just can't get it to switch, so I'll have to look into another tank. But yeah, it seems to be running all right. I gotta pull over somewhere here and see if I can, just to make sure this thing's not leaking. I gotta put a muffler on this thing too. Of course, it's got the C6. I wish, it's actually one of the reasons I actually got a halfway decent deal on this truck. The guy that had bought it put about, well, I forget, I think he put about $1,500, $2,000 into it. And 4 new tires, new front brakes, calipers. He had some wiring done for the alternator. I forget what else. Anyways, he had a bunch of work done. I got all the receipts. But he was having a hard time selling it. He wanted $2,500 for it. It was missing the front bumper. When I went and looked at it, I ended up getting it for $1,500. And then I put the wheels on it. I did the rear brakes. I did front shocks. That was the one thing. The thing was all over the road. The front shocks are wasted, and the what do you call those? Radius arm bushings were really bad, so I had to do those. And then that pretty much straightened out the front end, although, of course, you get used to it, because I can tell just not driving it in a little while here, Uh, it wanders a little bit. That's another thing I did. I changed the steering box. I need to change the steering column too. But anyway, but I drove this thing for 5 years. I used it for work. I put 50 or so thousand miles on it. And it's really been a good truck. Sure, I can use injectors, and the pump should be done. But right now it's on the back burner because that's one of the reasons I got the other truck running. I got tired of going to jobs and going out and start, especially when it's really cold. It's 15, 20 degrees out. I go out and start it every 2-3 hours, let it run for a little bit, and then so I make sure I can leave the house at the end of the day. But let's see if I can pull in right here. There's a dry spot right here, right by the boat ramp. All right, let's keep getting my fingers in the way. Let me take a peek under there, and hopefully nothing's leaking. Some guys out there ice fishing. Yeah, let's see. Wow. It does look. All right, guys. I got it back. You can see it's smoking. And this isn't. See, you can see the puddle right there? It looks like that injector's leaking. I'm pretty sure I got the washers for those. I'm almost positive I do, because I did all the caps. I did the return hoses. But that one, I had it running when I pulled in here. And that one looks like the injector itself is leaking. And then I looked back in here as best I could. You're not gonna be able to see anything, but I got my light right here. And I was looking back in there, and it looks like I might have a couple leaking back there too. I'm not sure if it's just the injector line or the injector itself. But I mean, that's kind of a bummer. I might have to try to move a couple of vehicles around because I really want to get this snowmobile trailer unblocked. But the main thing is to do the fuel pump today. So it's done. And I mean, it's a pretty cool truck. You don't see too many old diesel vans around. Once I get that rear quarter fixed back there and stuff, I like the truck. But at any rate, thanks for watching. I don't know when the next video is going to be. There's a lot of ice out on the lake. I know I got to fire up these sleds. So I might do something with that in the very near future. But I had to get this one running, so I figured I'd videotape it. There's a couple things there that some people might not be aware of. One, that arm is different on the fuel pump, and has been for a while. So, but if for some reason one of you guys is working on one of these 6.9s and the fuel pump looks different, that's why, or they gave you the wrong one. But and the other thing is you don't necessarily have to loosen those lines. And as you can tell with this one leaking anyway, if you can avoid messing with them, but you're better off. But anyway, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.